Hey everyone, it's Adrian from Ping Pirates TCG here, and we are back with another One Piece video. So today we're going to be looking over some sim gameplay that I have of Ivankov playing against Zoro. Everyone's just like playing Zoro on the sim because they're kind of just getting ready for OP02. It's going to be one of the best decks, if not the best deck in format. So starting off here, we're just going to mulligan our hand away, play the Perona so we could kind of map out our turns. And you know, I see this and I'm gonna want to bottom deck the Mihawk because, you know, I'm not gonna be able to play it for quite a while, and I want to put the new Kama land on top over the Luffy just because new Kama land is gonna get me like a ton of draw value. For those of you that don't know, new Kama Island or new Kama land just draws you one card and then you have to discard a card, and then afterwards you can discard up to 3 cards from your hand, so you can get that like Ivankov cycle going if you want to. But yeah, he's just gonna play the Chopper. I'm gonna play new Kama land and then draw that Luffy. And I'm just gonna get rid of the Arabesque Fist here because it's not too useful into pretty much, it's not that useful into anything but like his Robin. And I just have like a lot of useful cards like 2k counters in hand and the Dofi blocker, so I don't really care. But yeah, I'm just going to swing 7k there. He's not going to block it, he's just going to take. I kind of want to keep pace with him as he's playing his cards so that I am not too behind in life. So he's just going to swing 6k, I'm going to block it. With this deck, you want to counter early so that you could kind of get cards out of your hand, especially against red, since you know, later in the game, he's going to be swinging for potentially big numbers with like Whitebeard and his leader. So blocking those early hits when you can are really important because they're going to run out of steam like later on in the game. And then you also want cards out of your hand so you can just like cycle throughout your deck with the Ivankov leader skill. Because when you have 0 cards in hand, you're going to draw 2 cards at the end of your turn. So yeah, he swings it back over to me. I'm on 5 Dawn now. And I think I only really have one play this turn. I want to swing 7k into the Zoro to force him to block. I can also then after, you know, attach 3 to Perona to maybe swing into his Zoro, get a card out of his hand, but I think I decide to go with the Doflamingo play instead. Looking back, the Perona play isn't actually too bad because he might actually swing into it. Which basically acts kind of like a blocker, soaking up one of his attacks. But I don't know, maybe he just ignores it, so going with this blocker play is more useful. So then I'm just reordering my deck. Of course, I want that Ivankov right on top so that I can play it on curve with the Luffy. That's like one of the strongest plays that this deck has, right? And he's just going to think about his turn a little bit. There's a lot of things he could do. He could split his Dawn. Personally, I don't even know if I would really attack here, so because he doesn't have like a wide enough board for it to be like really annoying to me. I could still kind of just like remove his threats off the board if he has like only 1 or 2 things. So I'm just gonna block the 7k here. I block that just because you know, not blocking with it, and I mean I can like potentially swing with it next turn, but I mainly block with it because I know I'm going to play Ivankov next turn, so I'm actually not going to be able to do anything with it or attack with it like that I want to until like the turn after, so it's not that useful to me. So I'm just going to swing 5k into Zoro, and I think, yeah, he definitely just counters out 2k, which is good for me because, you know, I don't want those 2ks in his hand when I'm swinging for game. And I'm just going to drop the Luffy here and trash 2 cards to bounce his Robin back to hand, and then just draw those 2 cards from earlier. And this works out. I wanted to do this because if I didn't have anything to bounce with the Luffy, I would have just new Kama landed so that I can draw the 9-cost Mihawk on curve. And then I could like potentially just catch up in life like with the Luffy double attack, so that's like just really good, right? So he's gonna swing me 6k. Of course, I'm just gonna block this with a Mihawk, and then he has like 6 more Dawn up. He's going to attach or he's gonna rest 5 for the Luffy, swing at me 7k, And again, this is why I think that like um this is why I think like you should go a little bit wider with Zoro, because I actually have a really safe Mihawk here, right? Like I don't super mind playing Mihawk in this situation. Like it's not the safest. Like if he just has like a handful of rush cards, I might just lose the game. But like this is a very scary situation for him. Sorry, because I'm just going to bottom deck his Luffy, right, and then clear his board. There's really nothing he can do about it. Yeah, so I'm just like looking at the math, seeing if I should do another play maybe, but I decide that I'm just gonna swing 5k at him because the Luffy is free. I definitely want to Mihawk this turn, and I'm just kind of wondering to. So I'm gonna swing with the Ivankov, of course. It's gonna take 2 cards out of his hand to get rid of, or to get rid of this attack. So he's gonna give me 2k counters, which is insane. And then I'm thinking about whether I should swing with Luffy, because I don't really know if I want to tap the Luffy, because he has like the double attack. But I end up tapping for it because just because like the threat of Zoro on board is actually pretty big. And then but I just wanted to see if I had like another option here. So I'm going to New Kama Land, and then I decide that it's probably best to just discard a Mihawk since it has no counter in hand, and I'm probably not going to get another safe Mihawk in these turns, to be honest. So I'm just going to swing at 7k again, and then if he has counters, which he does, he has 2k counters. His hand was just full of 2k counters, which is unfortunate for him. And then I'm just gonna spin that Luffy to the bottom of the deck. So now all of a sudden, like I have full board control with my Ivankov, my Luffy, and he has like no cards in hand to deal with my board. So he's gonna have to like do some huge searching. He ends up getting the Nami off the top of the archipelago, and then he's just gonna play the Nami for something else. But yeah, like now he has to make decisions like, does he want to just full swing into my face, or does he want to risk it and like leave my characters on board, which probably isn't a good idea for him, to be honest, because the Luffy has double attack and because he's used so many 2k counters, it's actually pretty likely that I can swing for game. So it's very dangerous for him to not, or like to just ignore my characters. So he's gonna swing 7k at my Ivankov, of course. I am just going to counter out of this one. Don't mind getting rid of a 2k counter there, because then he's going to have to like full attach onto the Zoro to kill the Ivankov, right? And then, but he ends up just full swinging into the Luffy, which I think is the better play. Obviously, they're both 7k swings. It's just Luffy has like a really good effect attached to him, right? And then here I have like kind of a weird hand. I don't really want to do anything with it, like, because I want to play the Ivankov this turn, but the hand is looking a little awkward. So I'm going to swing 7k with the Ivankov first to kind of make him use the blocker, and then if he doesn't end up using it, like, I would just go about my turn swinging at his face. But he does end up blocking. I draw into the New Kama Land, and I have like a tough decision to make, kind of, but then I realize, you know, I can end up getting something off the top with Perona, because I kept the Inazuma in hand just in case there was like absolutely nothing to Perona to the top of the deck, because I'm gonna draw 2 cards once I play the Ivankov, right? Because Ivankov's on play effect is you draw until you have 3 cards in hand. So because I have 2, and then once I play the Ivankov, I'll actually just draw 2 cards. So it's actually really important that you get these Perona and Doflamingos lined up sometimes, because it's going to map out your Ivankov turns. Kind of in a similar way that like Perona and Dofi would map out like your Doflamingo turns. So I'm going to swing 9k into his face. Of course, he can't block that. Play the Ivankov, and then I already know that I could stack the Luffy, or I already know the Luffy was on top because I stacked my deck. So then I'm just figuring out do I want to play the Inazuma or Luffy? And I go with the Inazuma just because he has like Nami's on board. And if he has a rush character, it could be troubling, like if he just goes for game here. And like the Luffy, I end up doing kind of the math in my head, and the Luffy doesn't really matter, or the double tack doesn't really matter because of how many threats I have on board, that if he just doesn't deal with them, like I'm going to have enough to swing for game almost always, right? And so that's kind of why I go with the Inazuma, even though the Luffy is the higher value play, and then it has like the double attack swing. That could be super useful. Just go for the Inazuma, go for the safe play. I end up getting kind of punished for it because he does have the jet pistol, or like he did draw into the jet pistol. So, but again, like it's like not too bad because he has to commit 4 Dawn to it, and so he can only swing 7k. I don't know why he. Oh, okay, never mind, because there's a Zoro play. Because I was about to say I don't really know why he didn't stack more Dawn if he really wanted that Ivankov dead, but he might just lose the game because of it, right? So I'm gonna start by swinging 7k. I'm gonna go completely for game here because I don't want him just full stacking the Namis. I don't have blockers. I don't know how many counters are in my life, so I'm just gonna swing that 7k into his face. I know he can't counter out because he has no active Dawn, only has 1 card in hand. And then I'm just going to kind of math him out, right? Because then even if these are 2k counters, if I swing for 9k, he won't have enough to block this. So this is going through. And then again, more math. I swing for 11k here because, you know, if all 3 of these are 2k counters, he can't counter out of that. And then I'm just going to swing for another 11k, which this requires that he has 3 2Ks and a 1K. So this is like just super unlikely for him to have, right? So I'm just going to end up taking that. And that's kind of how you want to play the Ivankov matchup against Zoro. So that's going to be the end of this video today, guys. But as always, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like these videos. The next video is going to be an Ivankov meta overview, just like what we did for Smoker yesterday. We're going to make an Ivankov list. I just wanted to get this sim gameplay video out for you guys just so you could see how the deck plays before we kind of talk about it. So let us know how we're doing. And as always, you know, good luck in your work, your school, and keep on pushing through, guys.